Okay, y'all remember those wooden key rings I got from my secret internet admirer? We're finally going to use them. You know why? Because my secret internet admirer sent me some pouring paints too. Okay, y'all saw them in the picture. Now the only thing out of that picture that I'm really not going to use is the little blowtorch. Okay. Hey y'all, APG Jamie here, and today we're going to do some pourings. So the key rings are easy enough to take apart. You just take the little loop off, okay, like you would any key off a key ring. And there's this little screw down in there, and my little teeny tiny screwdriver fits in there just like perfectly. And you just unscrew it, and then you put them all in a bag and you set them aside. Okay? Okay. Now, you get you some toothpicks. Now, I use the round ones because that's the ones my husband likes to chew on, so that's what we got. And we're just sticking them in the hole. It's a multi-purpose tool like this. You can hold the key ring wooden thing and flip-flop it around, and it's a handle and, you know, junk like that. So those are some little wooden blocks that we got from the Dollar Tree way back whenever we got them. And we're going to lay our key rings on them because, you know, theoretically, technically, you can only do one side at a time. Now, that was a quick pick to show you that these are very translucent. They're pearl and metallic, and they are very translucent. Okay? Now, we already did one over there, and I wasn't recording. So I'm like, well, let me do another one just like I did that one. Okay? So, there we go. We just put drops on there, and we're just rolling it around. That's going to be pretty much it for the next 2 days. That's what we did. No, I think it took longer than 2 days because, you know, we had a boba. Oh, I just sanded over it like super light, and it probably wasn't even worth sanding over. Okay, so we did just the drops on it. And now we're going to put some in a little cup that I trimmed way down because why do I need all that cup? I'm just doing little bitty stuff here. Little bitty stuff. And pouring it out of our little cup. And it's hard to see because my hand's in the way most of the time. And we're just going to deal with it, y'all. So I'm tamping it, and tamping it sort of with my finger to get some of that paint on the edge, okay? And I'm trying to be careful not to get drips on the back because we're going to pour on the back too. There's some little bubbles. Now, I will tell you about this brand. I don't know the name of the brand because I don't remember it right now. Okay, but in the ingredient box, which is below the video, I took autofocus, put autofocus on so you could see where I got a couple little cells, but that was it. This stuff really doesn't make cells, which is what I was going to tell you. I have some stuff that I could have put in there, but I didn't because I'm like, no, I'm just not going to do it because it's so tiny. Would it even matter? I don't know if it would have mattered. Maybe I should have done it. You know, that's how it goes. My main thing there right now is keep drips off the back of it because eventually when this dries, we're going to flip them over and do the back side. Okay, so anyway, list of ingredients in the description box below. Click on that phrase that says show more so that you can see more, i.e. read more information, including a list of ingredients and that kind of thing. Okay? So there we put some more paint in there, and we're just doing one, and I'm like, well, you know, I've got a dozen of them to do, and this is just not very efficient. Now, I will say, that one right there that I got in my hand right now, that was one of my favorites. Was being an operative word. Operative? Prime word. I don't know. So I thought, well, let's see what happens if we paint them, and we're painting one white. Okay. Then we're going to paint one black. Just the one side. Did I paint both sides? Now I don't remember because it's been a long weekend. and I'm on some back pain medication because it was, yeah, one of them weekends. Here comes the black one. Just acrylic paint, y'all. Craft Smart, probably. I don't know if I put the brand name in the description box because we are still on pain medication. Anyways, so now I'm just squirting some in there, and I'm hoping I'll be able to squirt enough in there to actually do both the black and the white one, or the white and the black one, depending on which order you want to paint them in, or do them in. Good gracious, people. So this was a multi-day project. Somebody stuck their finger in it. Okay? Just because it looks like it's dry doesn't mean it's dry. Has it been overnight and or at least 12 hours? Then don't touch it. Okay? Okay. So that's essentially enough to do both of those that I put in there. And we're rolling it around. Now, also a key to remember, key rings. Oh, y'all. That's an unintended punny. When you roll it around, you can overmix it, so you gotta watch out for that. Now, I did use warm and cool colors in some of the same pours, and they did pretty well. I was pretty happy with that. I'm like, oh, Lord, I get a mess. But I figured I'd just wipe it off and we'd do it again. But I had to do that, and I only really messed up one, my favorite one. Okay, that little, I'm going to call it a heart shape, because when the key ring thing is in there, it looks heart shaped, but it's not real heart shaped. Okay, not an anatomical, not a body size heart, body shape, real. Stop, I'm stopping. Okay, so I'm just getting the rest of the paint out, and I was hoping thunder. I was hoping that if any dripped off, per se, let's say, that I could maybe save those and use them for something else, because y'all know I'm such a collector of whatever kind of trash that might be usable in art. And I was blowing on it to see if that did anything, and that made some cool marks, but we got carried away with that too later. And that one's drying pretty good. Notice I'm not sticking my finger on it. Okay? Alright. Oh, it's my favorite. So, we put a bunch of little paints in the little cup there. I think we used probably some of every color I have, however many colors it was. 36? I don't know. Description box. So, oh no, we're just doing a few at a time now. In a minute, or when I do the backs of them, I think I just do them all. And they get whatever color they get on there. Because it's like, holy cow, this is taking me forever. And y'all know I don't know, some projects just take a real long time. So, we're just rolling them around. They will level out, which is why I check ever so often to make sure there's no drips coming down on the back. Okay? Bubbles. It's a pokey tool, just poking out some of them bubbles. Do some of them overmix? Maybe a little bit, but not so bad that I had to wipe any of them off. Might have just wiped off the one I stuck my finger in. Well, y'all know how it goes. There we go. I'm trying to use as little paint as possible so I can do this a million times. Right? Now that's just some gloss varnish, and we put a coat on there because I want to see how it does when you put the paint on top, to see if that makes it kind of slicker and moving around. And we're just putting some drops on there. And I'm like, yeah, that's plenty. See how it's just, and this is very thin. I mean, it's made for pouring, so it's going to be very thin. And like I said, it is very translucent, y'all. Okay? Very translucent. In this small of a project, it did not make cells. You know those little bubbly looking cells? Yeah. I guess I could have. I know, I've already said it. I might say it again because, you know, we've only got about a day and a half left in this video. Let me get a drink. Sweet tea over here. Yes, it's got ice in it. Okay, so all that dried the whole rest of that day and then over the night. Okay, like I said, I'd put my finger in it and don't do that. Let it dry a real long time, y'all, especially if it's humid around your area, which is pretty humid. Y'all heard the thunder? Maybe you heard the thunder. Raining almost every day, every other day, which I am not complaining because we've been in droughts before. For 2 years here at my house, we didn't have a drop of rain. Even a drop of rain wouldn't have made a difference. It was so dry. Anyway, that's some washi tape, and I trimmed it down because I'm going to try to stop drips from dripping down the side and onto the other back side. Okay, that's what I'm doing, and it worked just fine. It was some effort, you know. Sometimes prep work. Sometimes it's the prep that takes the longest. And I'm working around my toothpick. Now this is where we just put some Evercolor in there, and just, you know, I tried not to put two that don't do well together next to each other, but I can't swear I did real well. That's still the same little cup because it's okay. Now my screen just got glitchy, so now we're going to have issues with the voiceover, which I always find annoying, although it can sometimes work out to be pretty funny. Just saying. So now it's a battery thing on my digital recorder, because I use a digital recorder. Yes, I could use there's a voiceover recording thing available in my editing software, which is PowerDirector, which I really like. And but I just choose to use my digital recorder because sometimes I'm an old-fashioned girl like that. Okay. So we're just pouring some on there that looks like it's probably enough, and that's what we're doing. And we're going to come back and we're going to roll them all. And there's a lot of wash, rinse, and repeat on here. Okay. There's no heat gun, y'all. There we go. I tried to start back where I first poured on there, and then, you know, just kind of trying to keep the drips from going off the sides, because we don't want to mess up the back, because I think the back is perfect on all except for the one I messed up, which was my favorite. I thought, well, that's okay. We can, you know, do something with that later on the back side or the front side, because it's on the first side. We'll call it the first side, but I'm liable to forget I'm calling it the first side because it's just how I am, y'all. It's kind of fun. The only thing is, don't touch it, because, you know, the paint's kind of thick, because it's, you know, it's kind of thick-ish. Don't touch it, y'all. Just leave it alone. Let it dry. 12 to 24 hours or longer. Now see, did them on, the paper in the background, what is that? That's butcher paper. It's got the wax on the one side and the white paper on the other side. Actually, the side it's got the wax on is white too, but anyway, that's what that is. It's in the description box below the video, y'all. Okay. Now, I did let these set about 15-20 minutes, and then I came back, made sure there wasn't any drips and all that, and pulled the washi tape from around them. Not touching the top. Y'all see, I'm being real careful to not touch the top. I'm touching the sides, you know, where the washi tape was. I did so good. We sped up, the whole video sped up, y'all, because, you know, some of us do that, speed everything up more faster even. So I'm looking at them like, well, there's some bubbles. Okay, they came out. How about this one? I don't know. So after I did all this, I went in the house and had some lunch. I think I had lunch. I don't know, whatever I did. Worked on another project. I don't remember, y'all. And then I came back out. That's the one I messed up. This is actually the better of the sides. This was the first side. It was my favorite. And I touched the back side, the second side, and blew on the front side, and it had already dried enough that it was, yeah, made like a wave in there. Anyway, it's the least pretty one. It was my favorite though. So what am I doing now? Back when one of my Michaels closed, they had everything on clearance. Now they had this stuff, what was it, Mona Lisa, I don't know, description box. It's to use with foiling. Okay, foiling, gold leafing, and they had the product on clearance for like $2.44, but because the store was closing, they had 80% off everything the last time I went there, which was just a few days before they closed. So I got the 80% off the clearance price. Okay, and then because I'm of the age where they give me experienced person discount, I also got an additional 10% off everything. So practically free. So that's the foil I'm using. It is not the heat sensitive foil, okay? And I'm just using scraps because I don't care if it's solid, because that color right there is considered amber watercolor. Remember that. I can't believe I remember that. So it goes from a dark bronzy, goldy, silvery tones are all up in there, and it makes the edge just so cool. Because originally I was going to paint the edge black, and then I thought, well, let's just try foil and see how that does. And it was like, yes, baby. So, but it's not 100% coverage, which is fine because it's what do they call that? Ombre. That's it, ombre. So, but it's so cool looking. Just saying. Puts just enough glitz on there. And both sides are not necessarily the same color situations. So, again, this worked really well. I think a plain black would have worked well. A foil, black foil, or gold. Just really anything. Well, maybe not pink or purple. Although some of them it would have worked on that too. So I'm just using, I cut off a new strip and I'm just doing the edge, and some of the sticky glue went a little off the edge, so that's why I'm doing it that way. Now we're using our gloss varnish to seal everything up, and I did the end that has the hole in it first so I could stick my toothpick back in there and hold it. See, I can hold it. It's a nice little tool, y'all. Still doing the one side. We're doing the edges in one side, whichever side we're doing. I don't remember if it's the first pour or the second pour, but that's how we're doing it. We do all of them that way, and we're still using our little wooden blocks to set them on. Now, if you're going to do something like this with a tiny project, I recommend working in like a cookie tray so that you can pick that up and move that off your desktop so you can do other things, because, yeah, they're there. So now I'm showing you it's all nice and dry finally. And we're going to put our key ring holder thing, knobby thing back on there with the little screw, and just screws right back in there. Be like, ta-da, it's back together. And here's our key ring. I'm just going to use the pokey tool to separate it to get it back on there. I don't show you all of them because it took a minute. I'll show you a couple of them. And then I just start putting the tops on them. And I don't think I put in any more key rings because this is when I decided these would make cute journal jewelry things, y'all. So that's what we're doing. That's just some my favorite eyelash fibers. Y'all know I like eyelash fibers. And we're putting some of that Fabrifix on the end to stiffen out the end so it's kind of like a point. And here's some chain off of an old junk jewelry necklace or something. Y'all know me. And jump rings and lobster claws so that they can be clipped onto a journal through a little hole. Or if you don't have a little hole in your journal, you could put one of those bulb pins in there, also known as a garment pin, and then the lobster claw would hook right on that. Now I used what I had, okay, and I found these ring thingies. I don't know what they're for. I make jewelry. I'm just not a jewelry maker, although I've sold some too. Anyway, neither here nor there. So we're just going to work really fast because I was really getting the flippy floppy hands. And now this was some time ago. I didn't, long weekend was before the long weekend, y'all. And y'all know how my hands do sometimes. I'm like, okay, let's use, I don't know, what are we using? We're using various charms and beads and jewelry findings because, I'm a clearance shopper, so I got it. Anywho, it's trying to make a loop so we can jump ring it all together, and my hands were just... I only made about 3 of them on video, 3 or 4 of them, and I'm like, that's all I can do on video because after this I'll just have to go do them 1 or 2 at a time as I feel like it. And that's what I did over the next 2 or 3 days. I went out there and do 2 or 3 in the morning and later on, and so on and so forth. And so this was a week-long project, just so you know, because there's a lot of drying time. And the most aggravating thing is I couldn't pick it up and move it off my desk. Use a cookie pan. Okay? But they're cute. I'm happy with them. They're just decorated just enough that it would make somebody happy, but they're decorated not as so that you could add more to it or take off junk you didn't like, okay, or didn't go with your journal, whatever. So we're just doing that. Those are square beads, glass beads. Some of these are glass beads, some of them are metal charms, some of them are I think I used some plastic and maybe even some wooden beads. I don't know. We have a long photo montage at the end. You've already saw some photos during, but there will be a photo montage. Gosh, photo montage itself's got to be 20 minutes. Not really. And I wanted fiber, so I'm just sticking that eyelash fiber through one of the rings, the loops or somewhere, something, and just tying it on there. Because I wanted to. And it looked pretty. I thought it looked pretty. I don't know. Made me happy, and we know that's what counts. there, and you can't really see because see it hanging down. When I took the photos, I put them on a clothes hanger so that they're hanging. But the background was ugly, so I put a black poster board behind them. So here's all my excuses. That's the one I messed up, leaving it as a key ring. Photo montage. So this is after the pouring on the back side, or maybe it was the first side, I don't know. And just that's it. Oh, that's the name of it, GenCraft. And I don't know, maybe one day we'll do a big project. See, that's the one I messed up on the back when I touched it. Messed the front up by blowing in it, and messed the back up by touching it. And here's some of the finished ones. They are, like I said, hanging off of a metal clothes hanger plus art. So, just showing them off. I don't show both sides because it's like, you see one side, you see them all. Well, not really, but I'm happy with them. Like I said, they're not so much that you can't add something to it or take something away. Guy, depending on what kind of journal you put it on. Some of them's got fiber, some of them don't. Some of them's got chains, and some of them don't. Well, they all have chains to a certain degree. So I do appreciate each and every one of you, your kind comments, your likes, your shares. That's when I messed up, but I still like it. Kind comments, likes, shares, and subscriptions. Thanks for watching, and happy arting, y'all.